Welcome guys, welcome back to my channel once again. Today we're back once again with a music video. I mean, we'll see. I will try to do history videos. Let's hope, but we'll see. Now this is a reaction of a recommendation. This was recommended to me by a subscriber about a Russian song by Артём Гришанов. Russian soldier saved the world. Okay. And yeah, let's go.
Власти Польши намерены снести более 500 советских памятников. Речь идет о монументах, установленных в благодарность СССР, освободившему эту страну от фашизма.
Это столбы империи. Поскольку империя уже 25 лет находится на свалке истории, туда же надо отправить всі ці столби.
Для вашої ж безпеки я вам рекомендую сидіть вдома, спокійно, тихо і не провокуйте людей.
Сьогодні наказаний.
So I'm guessing there's a lot of anti-Soviet sentiment in Poland. What the fuck was that shit? I'm gonna guess that the old guy was a soldier in the Second World War, and
Да, человек переживает, и самое дорогое, и прячет его. Это нормально, в принципе.
Вы ветерана с Буратино-то не путаете? Он не самое дорогое прячет, он святое прячет.
Я понимаю, почему вы так держитесь за прошлое. Потому что в настоящем у вас все плохо, а в будущем это вообще, возможно, вообще нет.
Попытки исказить.
Okay, what the fuck is this? Documentary of fascism? Nice.
Зачастую за такими попытками стоит желание скрыть свой собственный позор.
Listen, I could never understand fascism in like countries that experience the horrors of fascism firsthand. Like maybe in Germany, because you know the guilt there. I don't know if, but like in countries abroad, like the U.S., which I could potentially see how it could rise. But in Ukraine, in Belarus, in Russia, how can you be a fascist? You have grandparents. You know, it's like a Jewish person being fascist. Oh, really? That's what you're gonna do with your life? That's it?
Як приклад героїзму по відношенню до України.
Ми всі добре з вами пам'ятаємо радянську інвейжн як в Україну, так і в тому числі і в Німеччину.
Ils furent nos libérateurs. La France n'oubliera jamais ce qu'elle doit à ses soldats, ce qu'elle doit aux États-Unis.
Dlaczego wszyscy przyzwyczailiśmy się tak łatwo, że to Moskwa jest miejscem...
In my opinion, if you don't wanna, you know, if you don't like the Soviet Union for what it represents, because there's a lot of bad, I mean, there's a lot of bad in any country. Okay, let's all be honest here. You know, when people say, you know, a lot of countries, most of them, okay, 95% of them, and the ones that haven't done anything horrific or insignificant are like islands in the Pacific. Who gives a fuck? Most countries have done horrific things. Things that humans, like individuals, could never do. In my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but, you know, a lot of countries, if you go through their history, and not all, like, it's so...
Gdzie czci się zakończenie działań wojennych, a nie na przykład Londyn czy Berlin, co byłoby jeszcze bardziej naturalne.
Это нам только иногда кажется, что несут какой-то бред. Просто бред. Ну и это проскочит, и никто не обратит внимания. Нет, вы понимаете, это просто закладывается в голову миллионам людей.
Okay, I was like, where's the song?
In the fight against the Nazis during the Second World War.
I'm like totally blanking it. It's not the U.S.
French? Didn't think of another country?
America.
Japan lost. Russia lost.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah.
Which country took Berlin? United States.
Yeah.
The United States of America.
The United States, Great Britain, France.
How about the Soviet Union?
Yeah.
The former Soviet Union.
Oh, it's actually it was Russia or the Soviet Union. They had the most casualties. Yeah. What's your reaction to that? Does that surprise you?
Just please don't put this on TV.
Какая короткая память, не хватит
хватило даже на...
Okay, this is insane to me. Like, you know, when I talk with family or friends about wars that happened 500 years ago, and I start spouting facts, and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I'm like, "Okay, it happened 500 years ago. You know, the 1618, 1648 war. You know, who remembers the 30 Years' War, or at least, like, you know, who knows, you know, who really was the adversary, the impact, why was it fought, the number of casualties, or the 80 Years' War. Anyways, those wars, I could be like, well, okay, or maybe even the Napoleonic Wars. You know, I've learned a lot through the channel. So, you know, if I still say to someone, "Hey, do you know this happened?" They're like, "What do you mean? I don't know." So I can let it go. But you don't know that Russia was the Soviet. What the hell? This is the American system, really? Even in the Canadian system, we're not taught about the Second World War at all. Am I spreading falsehoods because this is my memory? You know, I don't remember. Maybe we're taught a little bit. I don't know. I don't want. This is.
100 лет. Какая огромная наглость бросать тень на память побед. Предатель давится, плюется огнем и косо смотрит на наш парад. Ох, как не нравится правда о том, что мир спас русский солдат.
Сегодня 22 июня и 3 часа утра без объявления войны германские войска напали на нашу страну.
Была разорвана в клочья земля и разбужен народ войной. Рано утром вторглась орда.
Dude, even if for some reason you don't respect the countries that fought the war because they're imperial pigs, whatever, at least respect the soldiers, man. You know? You can talk shit about the country all you want because, let's be honest, Stalin killed a lot of people and he wasn't a paragon of virtue, or, you know, the gulags. I mean, there are a lot of books that paint horrific tales of what was going on, really. Fine. Okay, we can all agree it was horrific. At least the soldiers. You know what I mean?
Сжигая дома за собой, сокрушительным был удар, но победа вырвалась из рук, силу неслыханную познал враг. Русский дух.
Сегодня за нами не только Москва, не только вся наша необъятная Родина. Сегодня, затаив дыхание, на нас смотрит весь мир.
Его мало просто убить. Попробуй повалить на землю, он зубами будет грызть. Даже в неравном бою сила крепла день.
I love your song, first of all, but yeah, for the Russians this was total war. You know, when you see the movies, or I'm assuming this is a movie or just a clip for the video, you see that everybody's fighting the war. There's no just the guys, no, everybody. It's, and when you see the casualties, it's unimaginable to me. And then 80 years later, nobody knows the history of the Second World War. Nobody. People, what they know? The Pacific and D-Day, which, okay, well, the Pacific, okay, you know, you can see a lot of naval battles and island to island, very, very bloody campaign for the Americans and for, you know, the British and all that. Fine. But D-Day, that's what you remember from the war? I don't know. I mean, it's an important event, don't get me wrong, but it's like,
Главное ни шагу назад,
And
Мир спас русский солдат.
you know, that's one of the reasons. One of the reasons why so many Germans surrendered or tried to surrender to the West, because the Russians would sack the cities, rape, murder, pillage the whole city because of what was done to them. Hatred, anger, resentment, all that, and they were horrific. I mean, when they plowed through Poland into like mainland Germany, they would. I mean, so and you know the West didn't have as much resentment, at least initially, before the camps were discovered and all that in the war, in terms of the tactics and the amount of soldiers the Germans inflicted in terms of casualties to the West. They were minimal compared to what happened in the East, and so the West didn't have the same kind of just resentment and just hatred in them. I believe. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's why the way Germany was conquered from both sides is completely different. From one side, it's much more, while still the word trust is committed, of course. It's just it was the horror, the fear that the Germans had to surrender to the East. I mean, it's telling, isn't it?
Те, кто сдал свои города в первые дни войны, не хотят и не поймут никогда радость русской души. В счастливый и растерзанный май был остановлен нацистов ад.
That's a good point. It's kind of a diss for those who surrendered their towns in the first days of the war. I mean, you can really blame the Polish. They were fucked from both sides. So, but the French, I'm going to assume this is for the French, because the French didn't suffer any casualties. They suffered overall throughout the whole war, like give or take 130,000, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of deaths, which is pretty good for the Second World War. Good numbers. So that's why I believe there's still to this day, such a sense of patriotism, and there's still the parade going on. And I think it will go on until the end of time, maybe. Or at some point it will become archaic, maybe in the future centuries, we'll see. Well, I won't see it, but we'll see. But yeah, that's why I've always wondered, like, why hasn't there been parades for the end of the Second World War in France or the US or the UK? And I believe it's the horror that was committed and experienced from the Soviet perspective. It was so much, and it was they have to remember all that, and the number of casualties are so high that, and everybody throughout the whole country was affected. It wasn't just the men. Everybody lost a family member or knew someone, so it affected pretty much the whole country in many ways. And so that's why I believe it's so ingrained, and there's the parades every May. And of course,
Мир спас русский солдат.
Okay. Okay, what the hell? Was this song made by the Russian government at the end? Like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, it was very good fun. What really shocked me the most was the responses from the Americans, or maybe they curated. I'm gonna give the benefit of the please. Okay, I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt that maybe they curated them. You know, maybe they picked only the outrageous answers. Maybe there were people who had more common sense. I don't. Just benefit of the doubt. Okay, because I'm a good guy. That's why. Anyways, if you like my reaction, leave a like. It was good. It was really good. I enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time, guys. See ya.